As Stranger Things Season 5 rapidly approaches, there are some big questions that we need answers to, so let's talk about them. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another Stranger Things video. Today, I'm talking about some of the biggest questions that we need answers to in this final season of Stranger Things. I actually wanted to shout out one of my patrons, Lynn, for giving me this idea a while back, but these are going to be some of the biggest questions, ranging from endgame couples all the way to the lore of the Upside Down, and I wrote down about 10 or so here. There's definitely a lot more out there, and I want you to let me know in the comments down below what question you think needs to be answered in Season 5, and of course, hit that like button, subscribe, and that notification bell to help reach my goal of 150,000 subscribers here on the channel. I mean, quite a bit. And if you want extra Stranger Things content as well as live streams and other fun stuff, Patreon is the place to be. Any support over there truly does mean the world. But without further ado, I say we just get down to business. So I wanted to start light here, nothing too crazy. A little lighthearted, honestly. It's a ship war, okay? There's Team Stancy, there is Team Jancy. Which will win? Will Jonathan end up with Nancy? Will Steve end up with Nancy? That's a question that I think we need answered, because it's one of those love triangles that's kind of been at the forefront of romantic relationships in this show since the first episode of Stranger Things. Each season, the momentum has kind of shifted one way or the other, and where we're at right now after season 4 is Jancy's together, but there were so many powerful Stancy moments and clear chemistry between the two of them that it's hard to just say, oh yeah, there's no shot they're gonna end up together. There were so many moments. I think of Steve in the RV with Nancy when he opens up and talks about how he wants 6 little nuggets one day, going on family vacation. You got the moment where Nancy is like bandaging up Steve's abdomen in the Upside Down, and they have this like intense eye contact. So there's still a spark there romantically, but Jonathan's in the picture and the two of them are still a couple. So based on what we know, it's hard to say. If I had to guess, I lean Jancy winning out as endgame, and then I lean neither. I think that, you know, everyone goes their separate ways and they all go find someone else and grow up outside of Hawkins. But I just feel like Stancy winning out at this point is a bit of the underdog. But that's a question we need an answer to. Who's Nancy going to end up with in that epilogue, right? I'm not talking, you know, when we're in the heat of battle. I'm talking once the dust is settled and we're wrapping up the season, who is Nancy dating? Is she set up to be with Jonathan or Steve? It's a burning question that we need the answer to. Now shifting gears a bit here, a big one. There's lots of layers to this, but the first question, the one that kind of opens the door to the rest that are related to this, why was it Will Byers that was taken to the Upside Down? Why Will Byers? I could sit here and theorize and speculate ad nauseum, but I need the show to tell me really and truly why Vecna decided Will should be taken to the Upside Down. More importantly, why November 6, 1983, and why is the Upside Down frozen in time on that day? As we know, there's a journal entry via Nancy's diary in season 4 that indicates time has been frozen on this day ever since Will got taken. So why November 6, 1983? Why is it frozen on that day? What is the connection to Will Byers and Vecna? These are all questions that we need answers to, and I'm like 99.9% sure we're gonna get them. And bouncing off that, taking it a step further, what was Will's experience in the Upside Down? I've talked about this, almost preached about it at this point in all my videos talking Will Byers, his powers. Over on my Patreon, Stranger Things Rewind, I really get into the nitty-gritty of it over there, and as we're doing a season 2 rewatch right now, and you know, True Sight comes into the play, and I'm like, damn, like we're really getting down to the nitty-gritty of Will's backstory. But when it comes down to it, Will Byers, he survived in the Upside Down. Barb was not able to do that. A lot of other characters have not been able to do that. I want his POV, and I think that's a question we need an answer to. The teaser trailer indicated we're going to see young Will evading a Demogorgon, so my running theory, as always, has been he's had powers locked away in his brain. Like, he's had this ability to sense the presence of Vecna in the Upside Down, but he hasn't fully unlocked the ability to use physical powers, such as Eleven's, such as Callie's, whatever that may be. We don't know as the audience, but Will knows because he was able to escape and live in the Upside Down for a week or so. He was only really able to do that if he had some sort of physical powers, probably, in my opinion. So we need to know how he got those powers, and if he has them, why has he not been able to access them since his time in the Upside Down? Probably has to do with the trauma of the situation and his brain physically shutting away his access to those memories. That's my best guess, but regardless, we need those answers, and season 5 really does have to give us a lot on Will, his backstory, his connection to the Upside Down and Vecna. Those are some of the burning questions that I need an answer to. This next one's even more important. What happened to Chester the dog? I kid, of course, but it is funny how he's never mentioned again, isn't it? On a little bit of a more serious note, will Enzo and Yuri show up in season 5? These are two characters who were in the Russian storyline in season 4, and I ended up liking both of them quite a bit in the dynamic they brought to the show by the end. They obviously help everyone escape from the Russian prison at the end, Murray, Hopper, Joyce in the helicopter, but we don't see them after that moment. Is Hopper gonna reach out on like a quick phone call, giving them a little cameo in the final season? Are they going to actually end up playing a role somehow and end up in Hawkins? I doubt it. They seem more like just season 4 characters, but it is a question that I've wanted an answer to for a while. I wish we got almost like a quick little 10-second scene of both of them in an epilogue. Like, what was their ending like? Because they teased about their lives outside of prison, but I want to know, especially with Enzo, what's going on with him out in the world. Back to Jonathan and Nancy here. What were their ultimate decisions when it comes to going to college? Last time we saw them, they were having discussions about what they wanted to do post-high school. Jonathan kind of lying about his intentions. Obviously, Nancy going to Emerson. Well, where do they end up going? Because season 4 ended in the spring of 1986, and where we're picking up in season 5 is the fall of 1987. So because of that time jump, that means they're off to college somewhere. Who knows where? Those are questions that I'm 100% sure are going to get answered. What happened in that time jump with their college lives? Are they actually even still dating? Or are they brought back to Hawkins for some reason? Are they putting college on hold due to the shutdown in Hawkins with the military base and everything? We don't know. We'll find out why. Another question I'm about 100% sure we're getting an answer to: why is 11 missing? My theory here is that it's intentional. They've put these posters out saying 11 is missing so that they can keep her safe. She's probably wanted by the government and the military because she was being hunted down in all of season 4, and so that probably still holds true for the government. So she's in hiding, likely out at the WSQK radio station. And she's hiding out there, so she's intentionally gone missing, staying away from downtown Hawkins. That's why when we see a shot of her and Nancy later on in the teaser trailer, when it looks like they're pulling up the Wheeler house, 11 was wearing a hood to hide her identity and kind of keep her on the down low. So I'm thinking, why? Obviously it was intentional, but I just want them to answer it. Another question we need an answer to: is Jopper endgame? Will Joyce and Hopper end up together, happily married one day, living together for the rest of their lives? Because they damn sure are the most endgame couple out of any in the show, and if we're robbed of that, it would just feel wrong. Now, I'm not saying the show needs to show them have a big happy wedding. I'm all game for that in an epilogue, but I do want them to be together romantically when the show ends. That's the only happy ending for both of them, in my opinion. I think they both need to live. They both need each other. Ever since season 1, it's been Joyce and Hopper. I know that, Bob was in the picture, and Hopper obviously had his own daughter with, his now ex-wife, and she passed away tragically, but the two of them need each other, and I feel like they are perfect for each other. So are they going to be endgame? Please be yes.
What's on this kid?
Here's another one for you all. In season 5, do we see Will Byers outright confess his love to Mike Wheeler? Now in season 4, there's a scene in the van, the California storyline. They alluded to the fact, at least we the audience are aware, that Will certainly has feelings for Mike. Not sure if Mike's picked up on that entirely or not yet. Will there be like a confrontation between those two characters where Will says, hey Mike, I love you more than just friends? Like, I don't know how they would word that. I don't know if that scene would be really awkward or not. I don't think Mike's gonna reciprocate. I think Mike is like best friends with Will platonically. There's gonna be some sort of confrontational scene though, right? Wouldn't you guys think? I don't know. That's a question that we need an answer to though, isn't it? Another one, a big one. Will Max wake up from her coma and live? Will she get back to a state of normalcy? I mean, nothing's ever going to be the same for any of these characters after the events of the show, but mainly, is Max going to wake up from that coma? Is she going to be able to be fully detached from whatever hold Vecna has over her? And then ultimately, will she be able to go to the movies with Lucas? That was something that was set up in season 4. They were gonna have their movie date. It would make my heart happy if they were able to go to the movies and she was able to get out of this alive. And I think the answer is yes. I think she will get out because they would have killed her if they were gonna kill her. I feel similarly about what they did with Hopper at the end of season 3. If they were gonna kill Hopper, they would have left him dead. If they were gonna kill Max for real, they would have probably left her dead. So she likely will end up making it out. I hope. Not everyone can have a happy ending though. So that's a question we need an answer to. Will Max wake up? Will she live? Will she be happy with Lucas? I hope. Here's another one. Who's Eleven's father? Now, we don't need to get down to the nitty-gritty of all that right now, but if you've seen the first Shadow, I haven't, I've read up on it. I've read a full spoiler synopsis. This was a year ago because I didn't think I was going to be able to see the play. I still don't have tickets to see it. I want to desperately, but I know major plot synopsis reveals. I won't say anything here for the sake of spoilers. It, from what I gather, is strongly suggested that this question of maybe not who like Eleven's birth father is per se, but a genetic tie-in of sorts could be revealed in season 5, and damn near is revealed in the first Shadow from what I understand. And I don't want to say much more. If you really don't care about First Shadow spoilers, I suggest you to go look into the synopsis on your own. There's a whole Reddit thread about the plot, but it seems like they're setting up Hawkins' lab revelations, and Eleven's backstory is going to have a bit of a retcon in a way, from what I gather. That's a question that needs to be answered, though. We know all about Terry Ives. What about taking it a step further? I think they're going to reveal some pretty shocking things. One in particular that I believe the play just outright says, and I don't know if that's true or not because I haven't even seen the play, I've just read about it. Like I said, I've read spoilers, but it seems like they kind of come right out and say it. So if you've seen the play, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about right now. Let me know down below. Another question, will Eddie Munson return? Is Eddie Munson alive? It's a serious question. I know it's been talked to death. We've all ran wild with our theories about how he's coming back as Kaz. Then you got the episode 6 title being Escape from Camazotz. You can run wild with theories there, but genuinely, is he gonna be back? I think he's probably dead. I don't think he's going to come back from the dead. That would be a bit wild for Stranger Things, but crazier things have happened. Stranger things have happened, dare I say. When it comes to Eddie, my working theory has always been he's going to show up in a flashback or in a vision or in a dream sequence to console Dustin in a low moment. But will Eddie come back from the dead and return, and then we view that character as like a villain, a right-hand man to Vecna? It could fully taint our image of him, and I don't want to live with, that tarnished image of Eddie Munson. He had such a beautiful ending and character arc that I don't want to live in a world where we see this, massacred version of Eddie. It could really damage the impact, the legacy of the character. So will he come back? Even if it's a flashback vision, we gotta know. Are we seeing Eddie Munson in some capacity in season 5? We have to know. Here's another question. What original character will die? Because throughout this show, there really haven't been any characters from season 1 who have been killed off. The Duffers usually introduce new characters and kill them off. Eddie being an example, Bob being an example, Billy being an example, but there hasn't been like a major death of one of the OG kids, of one of the OG adults, of even like one of the OG older kids, like a Nancy, Jonathan, or Steve. One of them probably has to go to prison then, and I always reference National Treasure, probably like, what is he talking about? It means, to me, one of them's gotta pay the price. One of them's gotta die. Is it gonna be 11? Is it gonna be Will? What will the major death of the season be? That's the big question I asked, because we know there's gonna be one. You can't have a final season of a show like this and not have at least one major death. Think about this. They've written the show, they've filmed it, they're editing it right now. They know. People in this world know who it is. We don't. Who's it gonna be? We gotta know. Look at Avengers Endgame, they killed a major character. Almost every franchise, long-running TV show, they kill off a major character in the final season or the final movie. Who's it gonna be here? We'll find out in a few months. And I saved maybe my biggest question that we all need to know the answer to for the very end of this video. What is the Upside Down really? Why did the Upside Down come to be? And furthermore, tell us about Dimension X and its relationship to the Upside Down, the lore of the Upside Down, its existence, its purpose. What is it truly? I want to know. And I'm not saying I need everything detailed in a 25-page document, like where a character just straight up looks at the camera and tells me everything about it, but I would like to explore the origins of the Upside Down and really have an understanding of it so that when I go back and rewatch this show, it all makes sense to me. It all has been recontextualized for the better. Kind of like with the massacre at Hawkins' lab when Vecna has this mega reveal, it recontextualized moments from past seasons for the better. I want that to happen with this season where, hey, we get this insane lore drop about the Upside Down, its origins, what it truly is, what it truly means, and the Mind Flayer, Vecna, who's really in control, all these things kind of fall into this one bubble of what the hell is the Upside Down truly. The Duffers know, and I hope they give us enough information about that to feel fed and not be like, well, damn, I still have this burning question about it, this major question about its function in the world. Like, I want to know everything about the Upside Down. I need to know, and I think they're going to answer it. If not, it could leave some fans a little upset. That's all I'll say. But I think we're in good hands, and we're going to find out lots of juicy information about the Upside Down in this final season. But that does it for questions that need to be answered in Stranger Things Season 5. If you want to see a part 2 to this and you think there are enough questions out there that I can bring up, let me know in the comments down below. But of course, let me know your questions that you think need to be answered in Stranger Things Season 5, and be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to that notification bell to help reach my goal of 150,000 subscribers here on the channel. I mean, quite a bit. If you want extra content from the world of Stranger Things to live streams to more, Patreon is the place to be. Any support over there truly does mean the world. But that's gonna do it. Thank you guys as always for watching, and until next time, I'll see you on the other side of the Upside Down.